shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Our weather maker today is a cold front crossing the area. As a matter of fact, it produced some severe storms overnight. I'll show you what to expect today. And preparing for impacts, communities already taking steps to protect against flooding. And we have team coverage on how they're getting ready near Lake Johnson ahead of Benson Mule Days. And close call caught. A father's doorbell video shows just how dangerous it can be when drivers ignore a stopped school bus. Why he hopes this clip makes you think twice. Good morning on your Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Michelle McConaughey, and of course, we have to get right back to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. There's a lot going on in the weather department today. We have 3 different scenarios that we're going to be playing through today, over the weekend, and then early next week. So it is a lot. Here's a look at our front that is sitting over us right now. And this front will be the focus for showers and storms today. Right now, we're seeing some of those in our northeastern counties, and we did have a line of severe storms with this as it moved through. Nothing severe right now, but up around Warren County and toward Roanoke Rapids, definitely some thunderstorms. Those will move out, and it should be a fairly quiet start to the day. We're really just looking at a 20% chance early on. But later this afternoon, with some daytime heating, we'll have a better chance of thunderstorms popping up. We take a live look here at downtown Raleigh. It is mostly cloudy and very muggy this morning, 73, with a dew point way up at 72, which puts us solidly in the tropic zone. We're going to see more clouds and sun today, even though we may have a few breaks on and off. Our highs will be in the mid-80s. Then we're going to see a flow of moisture over the weekend interacting with that front and bringing us a good chance of rain. And then early next week, it's all about the tropics. We have Umberto likely to become a major hurricane. And then this area near the Dominican Republic could end up being Imelda. And so here's a look at the model plots. It definitely looks like Umberto stays off the coast, but could have some significant impacts to the Outer Banks, which we'll talk about coming up. The models are still consistent over the last 24 hours of bringing what could be Imelda into the southeast, potentially in South Carolina. Of course, a lot could change, and we'll walk through some of the scenarios coming up. All right, thanks, Elizabeth. And we are working to learn more about a crash in Johnston County that ended with a car hitting a house. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker showing damage to that home on Jack Road near Clayton. You can see the porch disconnected from the siding where that car hit. We have reached out to State Highway Patrol for more information on this. And more breaking news. 2 people are out of their home after a fire early this morning in Cary. This happened on Loch Navar Court off Glasgow Road. Officials say the fire broke out in the home's garage just after midnight. Firefighters were able to contain it. Smoke damaged the inside of the home, though. No one was hurt. The cause of the fire is under investigation. And 2 people are hurt after a car crashed in 1010 Road in Cary. It happened just after midnight near Merrimack Drive. Police say speed was a factor in this crash. Officers are working to learn whether the driver was impaired. There's no information about how badly the people who were in the car were hurt. And we have a wet weekend in the forecast, as you heard Elizabeth say, and a tropical system on the way early next week. The time to get prepared is now. We have team coverage of what's happening this weekend as what weather is in the forecast. We start with WRAL's Heidi Kirk in Raleigh, where the city is working, Heidi, to lower the risk of flooding from Lake Johnson, something we talk about a lot.
Good morning, and that's really just one of the ways that officials here in Raleigh are preparing for all of that rain that's headed that way. Right here at Lake Johnson, they have already lowered the lake level by about 1.25 feet. If you look at your screen, you can actually see Lake Johnson here. Now, the WRAL weather team says the tropical system could have the biggest impact early next week, but there's also a lot of rain headed this way over the weekend. We've been talking about it this morning. Now, anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain is expected in central and eastern North Carolina over a 5-day period, and that could mean higher rain in some isolated areas. Now, Raleigh officials said they will meet again today to evaluate and make a choice on whether or not to keep lowering the lake into the weekend, and lake levels are expected to be down about 2 to 2.5 feet today. Of course, we're going to continue checking in with officials here in Raleigh to see exactly where those levels end up and if there's anything else you need to know about their preparations. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live at Lake Johnson.
And in Benson, heavy rain already causing problems just as Mule Days gets underway. WRAL's Allie Calabar joins us live in Benson. And Allie, how are folks there bracing for more wet weather?
Michelle, as you mentioned, the weather already impacted the event's kickoff last night, and I want to show you what's still left. There's still water here on the grounds at this main road that's part of this festival. But here's a look at some video from last night. Now, this was shared with us. The water is up to people's shins. It rose up to the concession booths. Today, there will be a mule show, vendors, live music, and rodeo expected. Benson Mule Days organizers tell me they're planning on running events as normal. They encourage people to enjoy the festivities, rain or shine.
Just get your poncho and come on out. Unless it's thunder or lightning or hailing or it's a monsoon, come out and enjoy the weekend with us.
Now, tomorrow they plan to have the parade, rain or shine. They do plan to move a concert indoors, and they're going to kind of feel out the rodeo to see if the grounds are wet as well. So just stay tuned with their events page. And, of course, WRAL is a proud media sponsor with them. Reporting live in Benson, Ali Kadbar, WRAL News.
And you can track the rain threat and the tropics in real time. The redesigned WRAL weather app has the dual Doppler 5000 radar. You can also track the models on those tropical systems to get an idea of where they are going. And be sure to turn on those push notifications so you can receive alerts about weather changes in your neighborhood right in the palm of your hand. Today, communities in the western part of our state, along with Governor Stein, are marking the one-year anniversary of Hurricane Helene's impact on North Carolina. The governor will be the keynote speaker at the Blue Haven Block Party and one-year remembrance in Newland. That event will honor survivors' resilience and celebrate the progress of rebuilding 1 year later. Governor Stein will speak at 4:30 at the Avery County Center in Newland. Meanwhile, we spoke to a family who says they are still recovering from Helene. Ashe County saw some of the worst damage. WRAL visited Michelle Denny after her home was nearly destroyed by floodwaters. For months, she lived without running water, and her home reeked of mold. A year later, Habitat for Humanity has repaired the property, and Denny now says the house is ready to withstand another storm.
They closed in the crawl space and they put these large drain pipes through the concrete going out into the yard, that if water ever got in the crawl space again, it would definitely be able to go and be expelled right away.
And although Denny says her renovated home is hurricane ready, after surviving Helene, she plans on seeking shelter elsewhere if another storm moves through the area. Don't go anywhere. In just about 10 minutes, we'll hear more stories from Helene, including from the heartbroken husband of a woman who was swept away during the storm. And this morning, we're learning Governor Stein will make a decision on whether or not to sign a sweeping new crime bill until next week. Yesterday, the governor declined to say what he'll do with the bill drafted in response to a deadly stabbing in Charlotte. State lawmakers passed the bill this week. The legislation restarts the death penalty in our state, enacts stricter rules for bail, and ramps up the monitoring of suspects who suffer from mental illness. In an interview yesterday, Stein reiterated calls for lawmakers to better fund programs for people with mental illnesses. House Speaker Destin Hall says the bill provides real public safety solutions. Stein can sign the bill into law, veto it, or let it become law without his signature. The White House Budget Office is threatening mass firings if a government shutdown happens. Lawmakers have until the end of the month to approve a new spending package. A memo sent out to government agencies yesterday tells leaders to target programs that are not legally required to continue. Now, if the firings get carried out, it'd be a big break from past shutdowns where workers kept their jobs. It would set up the latest showdown between the White House and congressional Democrats over federal funding. A Cumberland County father pleading with drivers to be careful around school buses after his doorbell captured this very scary moment you'll see right here on your screen. You can see the man's two children walking toward the stopped school bus. Then seconds later, that truck blows right past the bus in front of them. The bus driver had not fully extended the bus's stop arm when that truck went past, but the bus was not moving and those yellow flashing lights were on, as you see there. The children's father hopes that you'll see this video and you'll be more careful when you're on the road.
Pay attention to the road, because these roads are dark out here, and there shouldn't be any children in danger. We need to keep our kids safe.
Yeah, he says that he spoke with someone at his kid's school and had the cameras on the bus were not able to capture anything about the license plate of that driver. The Cumberland County Sheriff's Office has shared the video on their social media and are asking for anyone with information to give them a call. Time now 4:40. New flights ahead. Soon you'll be able to jet from the Triangle straight to the islands. We'll show you where Breeze Airway is taking you next. And soaking rain is in the forecast as we look live at Cary and Fenton. Dry right now, but that's going to change later on. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking the heavy rain heading our way.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:43. This cold front is going to be the focus for showers and thunderstorms for us today. Notice just on the west side of it, there were some scattered severe storms yesterday. We're not under a level 1 risk of severe storms today, but it wouldn't be out of the question. Right now, we're still dealing with just a little bit of patchy rain up here around Warren County near Roanoke Rapids, and that's moving on up into Virginia. It should be a fairly quiet start this morning. Our chance for rain early on is just 20%, but after lunchtime and into the evening, it goes up to 50%. And we'll talk more about how that could affect your evening plans. It is a football Friday for sure. 73 in Durham and in Raleigh. It's 75 in Fayetteville right now. School day planner. Again, it should be fairly dry now. Once we get to mid-afternoon, we may start to see some storms popping up. Our highs this afternoon in the mid-80s. Just now, Umberto became a hurricane. I'll show you its current path coming up. Thanks, Elizabeth. Former FBI Director James Comey makes his first comments in a video message after being indicted by a federal grand jury. His response: let's have a trial.
Is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
Comey has been charged with giving false statements and obstruction of a congressional proceeding. The charges stem from his 2020 testimony about the investigation into possible Russian collusion in the 2016 election. The indictment comes days after President Trump called for Comey to be prosecuted. Looking ahead, a new massive tariff on some imported drugs will take effect starting next month. President Donald Trump announced brand name or patented drugs will be subject to a 100% tariff yesterday. The tariff won't apply to drug makers who are building manufacturing plants in the U.S. Trump is using tariffs as a way to pressure drug manufacturers to ramp up production here in the U.S. and also to strengthen the supply chain for essential medicines. A live look now at RDU, where starting in March, 2 new flights will connect to the Triangle with tropical destinations. Breeze Airways is adding flights to Montego Bay, Jamaica, and Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. The airline's CEO says it hopes to add even more flights next year. Breeze says the growth in the Triangle is making RDU really good for business.
You don't invest in places you don't make money, and we're very successful in Raleigh-Durham, and we see tremendous potential there. And so that's why we put a base there. That's why we're hiring pilots and flight attendants and technicians. We're going to have a maintenance base there as well.
The airline is also opening a new crew base next year. This is set to bring a couple hundred jobs for pilots and flight attendants. Well, the FBI says the gunman who fired on a Dallas ICE facility had been planning the attack for months. Authorities say the shooter fired indiscriminately, hitting a van with people being held by ICE inside, killing one of them. Now there are growing calls for federal officials to release the names of the people who were killed or wounded in that incident. Mexico's Ministry of Foreign Affairs says one of the victims is a Mexican national whose family is waiting for access to visit them in the hospital. Federal officers claim the shooter was targeting ICE agents, not migrants. Wake County Schools is celebrating the opening of a new high school. It held a ceremonial ribbon cutting at Felton Grove High School in Apex. It opened last month with about 800 students for its first year.
This is what we see as the commitment to modern education in the 21st century. We say all the time that technology in buildings don't teach children, it's teachers. But when we give them the right tools, then they have the opportunity to do an even greater job.
Felton Grove is one of 4 new schools in the county this school year. Well, the husband of a woman who is still missing a year after Helene is sharing his grief. Rod Ashby spoke about his wife Kim in our new WRAL documentary about Helene. Kim and Ron were in their cabin in Elk Park when the storm hit. Their house actually slid off the embankment and went right into the river.
Up and there was a big tree, and I told her, hang on, we're going to hit a tree. And we hit the tree, and I couldn't hold on to her.
That's just devastating. Crews searched for Kim Ashby for months, but never found her. She is one of 108 people who died in North Carolina from that storm. Kim Ashby's family talks about her life and impact in our documentary, Helene, What We Lost, What We Found. You can watch it wherever you stream WRAL or on our YouTube channel. And meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center talking about some weather for today and this cold front right now.
Yes, and today is the anniversary of when Helene made landfall down on the Florida coast, of course, and then started to move on up toward the mountains of North Carolina. We have a cold front that's going to bring us just a few isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms. Last night, you could see the yellow boxes that popped up. Most of our severe storms last night were up closer to Virginia, and we still have a little bit of lingering activity there. We'll zoom in up here around parts of Halifax and Northampton County. Emporia is seeing the bulk of it right now over into Virginia. So that's moving out. We don't have much of a chance for rain this morning. You can see here at 7 a.m. a couple of showers may pop up. Later this afternoon is when we'll have a better chance for rain. There's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There's 5 o'clock. And after that, we may see some rounds of showers and thunderstorms. We don't currently have a severe weather threat. It doesn't mean that some of those storms couldn't reach severe wind criteria. 50% chance of rain today. Saturday, 70% chance. Saturday is going to end up being a weather alert day because we now have a medium risk for flooding. Sunday and Monday, 50 to 60. And then Tuesday could be a real soaker depending on what happens with what could be Imelda. Umberto just became a hurricane and it could become Category 4. Watch this as it moves to the west and then makes that northerly turn by Monday, Category 4, and then possibly Cat 2 or 3 as it's off the coast of North Carolina in a similar position to where Aaron was about 6 weeks ago. Let's talk about what this storm, which could be eventually Imelda, could do. It's likely that we'll see a lot of tropical moisture up in our area through the weekend. And then here's the potential center of circulation. I want to show you this, but want to point out that this is one version of the models, and the models change frequently. But this is a scenario that at least that we are watching out for. That would be a lot of rain for us on Tuesday and potentially the center of circulation just down to our south. 2 to 4, maybe 5 to 6 inches of rain. Tropical risks definitely increasing as we get through the week. And we do have a flood threat starting today all the way through Tuesday. This morning, temperatures are in the low 70s, and so is the dew point. So it's very warm and muggy, 86 for today. And then, of course, once the rain really becomes heavy, our high temperatures will only be in the 70s. Coming up, I'll show you a little more about how much rain we could see for the next several days.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Rare music treasures, from legendary guitars to iconic stage pieces, these items could fetch sky-high prices. See what's hitting the auction block. And future takes shape. Brand new renderings reveal what's coming to Marble's Kids Museum, how the new exhibit promises hands-on fun with a big message. This morning, we are getting a look at some new rides and foods you'll find at this year's State Fair. It's coming up quick. The Colossus is a new thrill ride. It'll balance 8 riders on opposite sides of a giant pendulum that will loop around 360 degrees. The flip side swings riders high into the sky as the seats rotate in a circle. As for those new foods, you'll have to wait a little longer for specifics, but we did learn there will be 50 new foods making their NC State Fair debut. They'll join the menu with some of these foods that debuted last year. Music history going up for bids, and Gerard Butler back for the next installment of an action franchise. David Daniel has today's Hollywood Minute.
A piece of Oasis history is going on the block. Prop Store's music memorabilia live auction includes Noel Gallagher's 1960 Gibson guitar that Liam Gallagher damaged the night in Paris when the band broke up. It's estimated it could bring up to $660,000. Other big items up for bid include John Lennon's Lost Weekend glasses, which could go for $200,000 or more, Elvis Presley's Grand Prix sunglasses, estimated at $10,000 to $20,000, and Michael Jackson's fedora from his Smooth Criminal video, estimated at $50,000 to $100,000. $100,000. The auction is October 23rd and 24th. More info at propstoreauctions.com.
On a new beginning for our family.
Okay, the Clark crater is our best bet.
The Garrity family is on the move again after years underground following a devastating comet strike in the first trailer for Greenland 2 Migration. Gerard Butler and Marina Baccarin return in the action sequel, which arrives in theaters January 9th. Taking cover in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
The NC State Wolfpack looking to get back on the winning side this weekend. They'll host Virginia Tech in an ACC matchup tomorrow night at Carter Finley Stadium. The Wolfpack lost for the first time this season last week against Duke. They kick off against the Hokies at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Marvel's Kids Museum released new renderings on an upcoming exhibit. Look at this. The Futropolis exhibit will open in late 2026. It highlights construction, transportation, manufacturing, energy, and other careers. It's been in development the last 2 years. It'll add 10% more exhibit space. The new exhibit is in partnership with the Conlon family at Novo Nordisk. Flood risk rising. Crews working at Lake Johnson to keep nearby neighborhoods safe. What the city is doing right now. And of course, Mule Day concerns. Flooded roads and downed trees have organizers making backup plans. We'll take you to Benson for how the celebration is moving forward.